You cannot be a doctor on YouTube and not have a reaction video to medical shows like Resident, House, Grey's Anatomy and shit. Hello people, welcome back to Chatterdocs. I'm Dr. Tor. So I decided to record a video reacting to one of the Grey's Anatomy episodes. That's, I think, the most popular medical show, and they've been airing it since like 1987 or something. I remember I was a kid and I was watching Grey's Anatomy, and actually I can say that was the reason I went to medical school. Because you see all that beautiful people going around the hospital, not doing shit, having sex all the time in the closet, and you'd be like, man, residency in the US is awesome. Guess what? Spoiler alert. Well, that was not true. So basically residents work 80 hours a day. They barely can eat and sleep, let alone fucking around all the time in the hospital. I want to know which episode to react to, so I'm gonna Google. Oh, there's a whole list of it. The best episodes of Grey's Anatomy. Okay. Sanctuary, silent all these years, all of me, cause all of me likes all of you. Cold as ice. Cold as ice. This one might be interesting. Oops. I have to buy the episode for $2.99. I'm gonna pay $2.99 just for you. So you better enjoy this episode. Episode 23, watch now.
To make our sutures as precise.
Are you high? No. I tried to get a fix and I couldn't. So I sweated out on my friend's couch.
Alright, I have no idea who half of these characters are, so bear with me if I don't know what's really going on as far as the story, but we're gonna react to medical parts. Hopefully it does have a medical part.
You ever heard of the black lace weaver spider? Well, she lays about 50 to 100 eggs, and when her babies reach a certain age, she taps her web and calls them to her. They swarm her, stab into her with their straw-like stingers. The mother's innards liquefy, and they suck her up like a milkshake for their nourishment, leaving her a dead husk. And then they go on with their lives. That's parenting. That's my advice.
Is that true? Black lace weaver spider. It's a real thing. When you Google it, the Google suggestion is black lace weaver spider Grey's Anatomy. So people basically looked for this shit only after watching Grey's Anatomy. Good job making the spider famous. Amarubius ferox is the scientific name of this thing. Females live for 2 years, while males only a few months. In the summer of the following years, females frequently die and are eaten by spiderlings before they disperse. Motherfucker, that was true. Not that we humans are way kinder to our moms, but we don't eat them.
He's in bad shape.
Who is it?
Matthew Taylor.
Unconscious at scene with a head injury. Now GCS is 11. We bolused them 3 times.
So one of my friends was asking me, is this true? Do you guys go outside the hospital waiting for the ambulance to come? When the ambulance is coming to the emergency room, they contact the hospital and say that we're coming, this is our case, and the hospital overheads the emergency department and the surgical residents and everyone that a level 1 trauma is coming or gunshot wound is coming, ETA 2 minutes. So they get ready, they make their equipments ready, they make their CPR room ready, the trauma room ready, they page the surgical residents, attendings, different people. They come out and they receive the patients, because even those few seconds and minutes are vital in saving someone's life. GCS of 11. What's GCS? GCS stands for Glasgow Coma Scale. Is a quick way of knowing how conscious the patient is. It has 3 different criteria that they look at. Basically, they look at the eyes, they look at the movements, and they look at what they're saying or how they're communicating and give a score. So for eye-opening, 1 is none and 4 is spontaneously, so I'm having a 4 for the eye-opening. So for a verbal response, if they don't say anything, it's 1, and if they're oriented, it's 5. So for me, it's like maybe 4 or 3 now. And for motor response, if they don't do anything, it's 1, and if they're obeying commands, that's a term that we use in medicine, so they get 6. So basically, if a person is non-responsive, not doing anything, they're gonna be 3. So there's no 0. This guy was 11. So basically, when you go lower than 13, 14, it's becoming worrisome. And if someone goes lower than like 8, 7, then they need to get intubated, go to ICU and all those things.
Matthew, can you hear me?
He's one of us, you know.
Yeah, I know. We got him. Trauma 1 is clear. Let's go.
Oh, he's one of them.
Okay, morphine, 8 milligrams. Oh, April.
We're getting her. Just try to relax.
April's here. She's okay.
All right, so it looks like that guy is sewing him up on the head laceration, which does not happen like that. You know, if someone comes in for a trauma, they first do the whole assessments to make sure there's no urgent or emergent stuff going on. Like they take a lot of pictures, you know, with x-rays and CAT scans and ultrasounds to make sure there is no imminent need for taking the patient to the OR to save their lives. Not like sewing lacerations on their head. Maybe they did that part, but the editor skipped it.
Free fluid, left upper quadrant. Looks like a splenectomy.
Tell me when you find out.
When they see free fluid in the belly with an ultrasound, that's an indicator of possible internal bleed. So she said left upper quadrant, which is up here where the spleen is, and that's why she said possible splenectomy, which means that when, as a result of trauma, the spleen is lacerated, the patient can have a massive bleeding because the spleen is full of blood, and they basically chop off the spleen out and throw it away. And you might ask, like, what the hell? Do we not need the spleen? Well, spleen is a part of your blood/immune system, and it helps basically taking away the dead blood cells, the pathogens, and making immune cells for your body. So when they take it out, the person can live and can have a long life, but their immune system is down. So it's very important for them to take like certain vaccination, like a pneumonia vaccination and things like that.
Hey, look at this. Kevner left it in my box. She wants us to pick a base for the color palette.
What does that even mean?
Just pick one.
I see yellow, yellow, and yellow.
Yeah, dude, men have zero sense of color, okay? You show them these colors or 10 different other yellows, they're all yellows. You know, it's when my wife shows me 3 lipsticks and she goes like, oh, which one is better? And I'm like, dude, they're all red. Are they any different? I don't say that though. I say that to myself and I giggle inside, but then I go like, oh, the middle one.
She's hypothermic, freezing cold, no pulse, no vitals, GCS 3.
No idea how.
Okay, GCS 3. So now she's not doing anything. The guy was GCS 11, he was like talking and stuff. But her, that's bad. And she's hypothermic. So apparently she was thrown into the water in winter and her body temperature is extremely low. That's what it's called, hypothermic. So if your body temperature drops too low, then everything will be frozen and can cause arrhythmia, like cardiac dysfunction, and actually make your heart stop. The first step in these cases is to help bring up the body's temperature. They start with heating blankets and heating pads, and then if the patient is too critical or the temperature is too low, then they will start warming internally, which means that they put an NG tube. A tube goes from the nose into the stomach and they start pumping warm saline into the stomach, or they put tubes into the lungs, like basically around the lungs, because we have spaces around our lungs, and they put chest tubes there. So basically 2 tubes will go in each lung space, like the pleural space, and they start infusing a warm saline like in from one chest tube and out from the other, and it will warm up the lungs, and lungs have a lot of blood supply, so the blood will be warmed up fast enough.
I think we lost her.
No, we did.
She's not dead until she's warm and dead.
Very good point. So the medic said, I think she's dead. We lost him because she's not doing anything. Her pupils are wide and her heart stopped. Her heart and breathing stopped. Basically the definition of a dead person. But there's an exception there. If the patient is not warm enough and they're cold, you cannot declare them dead, because maybe if you warm them up and do the CPR, then they will start breathing again, or the heart will start beating again. That's why she said she's not dead until she's warm and dead.
Page Pierce.
I did. Also humidified O2.
I can't find a vein.
Try the other arm.
I did. I couldn't either.
Okay, let's put her on an IO line.
Put in 2.
Good.
Doing? Numbing the area. Dude, she can't.
So what they're doing is CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, which basically has 2 major components. Chest compressions, as you see Meredith is doing chest compression, which is basically compressing the chest to squeeze the heart to basically help it, 1, pump the blood to the brain and to the other organs. 2, it helps the heart to restart. I see in a lot of movies that as soon as the patient is dead, they start shocking the patient, but that's usually not how it works. In certain cases, when you see a patient with certain heart rhythm, which is like a funny rhythm, we call VTAC, ventricular tachycardia, or VFib, ventricular fibrillation. In those cases, you call it a shockable rhythm, which means that you want to reset the heart. You want to make the heart stop with a lot of electricity. All of a sudden, you want to make the heart stop, and then it will resume its own good natural activity, hopefully. But in cases that the heart is not beating, it's just stopped, it's what we call asystole, meaning that there's no beating. So they just have to push and push on the heart. There's no shocking. Shocking won't do anything. So this is accurate and it's good. The second part to the CPR, it's called cardiopulmonary. So the pulmonary part is where they put a tube down the throat into the trachea, and then they start bagging, meaning that they start giving artificial breathing to the patient. Let's see what they do.
She's dead.
Shut up! Don't say that. No one says that.
What did she mean, warm and dead?
Her temperature is 68 degrees. We need to get it to 86 before we can try to restart her heart.
Okay, the guy was drilling. Is he fixing the lady's bones in this immersion situation? No, that's a device, that's a drill gun used to make intraosseous infusion line, because when the patient does not have a pulse, basically all the veins are collapsed, so you cannot find a intravenous to give them medication. So this is one of the ways that they very commonly use in the field by medics to make an emergent way of infusing IV fluids, medication, and stuff like that.
Jackson should know.
No, Maggie, we didn't call you here because you're a friend. We called you here because you're endocardial. Get in here. We need you. Let's push one of Epi.
No.
Let's push one of Epi. So one of the most commonly used drugs in the CPR is epinephrine or adrenaline. It's a potent medication that will help your heart to start squeezing and help your blood pressure to go up.
We need dual chest tubes and a thoracic lavage.
Okay, all right.
I got it.
Bingo, yes! So they're putting a tube in the stomach and around the lungs to infuse warm stuff to actively warm them from inside.
Circulation. We need interposed abdominal CPR. Helm, you get in here. You push. You alternate. Circulate the whole body. Push, push. Keep it steady, about 100 beats per minute.
Hunt, where do you need me?
All right, this is very new. I haven't seen such CPR being done yet. This is not very evidence-based, and it's more used in people who have a chest deformity, like congenital deformity or basically broken ribs during the CPR or from trauma, or something has happened in their chest, like a disease or something, that the chest compression cannot deliver enough pressure and enough squeeze on the heart.
We're doing everything. Stop compressions. Good.
Stop compressions. So about stop compressions. Stopping compressions should ideally not happen during the CPR unless for absolutely necessary reasons. Like, for example, getting an IV line is very hard when you're compressing the patient and moving it all around. But I'm sorry, the compressions are the most important part of the CPR. One of the few things that is evidence-based helping reviving a patient is the chest compression. So it wouldn't stop for putting an IV line, for putting a tube down the throat.
What's your temperature now?
76.
This isn't going fast enough. I want to get her to an OR and put her on bypass. Let's prep her to move.
Bam! That's what you should do. You have a young patient with hypothermia, bypass. Now, bypass means that they will put lines in the patient's great vessels to take out all the blood, like little by little, not all of a sudden, into a machine to do the heart and lungs job with a machine, meaning that the machine will perform the oxygenation of the blood and take out the CO2 out of the blood and also give the blood a push. Checking the rhythm.
Okay, go.
Oh no. They were making an incision.
Kept going first.
Okay, stop.
Another incision for the other
I hated her because I wish I was
line.
like her.
Go.
She's always prepared, always excited. She cares. She liked her patients.
All right, again, not real drama, talking about the patient's habits and shit, even if they were your friend, while you're doing a hard-ass CPR and putting the patient on bypass. It's not happening because you need a lot of focus and attention here, okay? You don't recite memories with the patient, even if it's your whatever close friend.
She knew her stuff. She was good.
Vessel loops.
She was all the things I wasn't. All the things I had to work to be. She was just born that way.
Do your compressions, man.
Stop saying was.
Oh yeah, so romantic. Don't say was, because we still have hope. All right, I guess I'll have to do a second part to it because it's been a long time I'm watching this and commenting. Ugly is the new beauty. Fat is the new slim. Oops. So good luck. No, seriously, good luck editing this video. Stay tuned for part 2 as well. Don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Adios.